Every system that runs the modern world was invented by one culture in one place in a few centuries between 3500 and 2500 BC. Writing, break time EMs, mathematics, break time EMs, astronomy, break time EMs, law codes, break time EMs, cities, break time EMs, schools, break time EMs, taxation, break time AMs, organized religion. Break time EMs, property records, break time, timekeeping, break time EMs, beer, break time. All of it came out of southern Mesopotamia, the land between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers in what is now southern Iraq. We call the people who built this world the Sumerians. Start with the first city. Break time around DBC. A settlement in southern Mesopotamia called Uruk began to grow in a way that hadn't happened anywhere on Earth before. Break time EAMS. By EBC, Uruk had a population estimated at A to E people. Break time EAM. The city walls enclosed square kilometers. Break time. It had a monumental temple complex and specialized workshops producing textiles and ceramics at scale. The problem with managing tens of thousands of people is that human memory fails at that scale. Break time ease. You can't track how much grain came in from different farms, how much was distributed to households, and how much is left in storage, all in your head. Around 3400 BC in Uruk, someone started pressing pictographic signs into wet clay tablets using a reed stylus. At first, the signs were just pictures. Break time times meant a person. A head meant a person. Break time. A bowl meant food. Break time. The earliest tablets we have are essentially accounting records, lists of goods received and distributed. Break time. Job. The very first writing wasn't poetry or religion or history. Break times, it was spreadsheets. But once you have a writing system, you can do more with it. Break time. Job. Over the next few centuries, Sumerian scribes extended the pictographic signs to represent sounds as well as objects, creating the world's first true writing, cuneiform, named after the wedge-shaped impressions of the reed stylus on clay. With cuneiform, you could write laws. Break time. Job. You could write stories. Break time. The first love poem in recorded history is Sumerian, a hymn to Inanna, goddess of love. Break time. The world's first epic narrative is Sumerian, the stories of Gilgamesh, a king of Uruk who seeks immortality and instead finds the first recorded meditation on what it means to be mortal. The first school was Sumerian. Break time. The Edubba, the tablet house, trained scribes. Break time. We have actual student exercises. Break time. The same student text appears across multiple tablets, a list of Sumerian words clearly copied over and over as practice. Break time. A homework assignment, years old. Sumerians divided the sky into T constellations, the zodiac. Break time. They divided the day into hours. Break time emsh. They divided the hour into E minutes and the minute into E seconds. Break time emsh. We still use their system. Break time emsh. The reason there are E degrees in a circle is that the Sumerians used a base E number system. Every time you check what time it is, you're using Sumerian math. The Sumerian king list, a document listing the rulers of Mesopotamian cities going back into mythological time, begins when kingship descended from heaven. Kingship was in Eridu. Break time slash. The early kings on the list have reigns of tens of thousands of years. Break time slash. Then the list notes a great flood. Break time After the flood, the reigns become more realistic. The parallels to the biblical flood story are not coincidental. Break time slash. The Epic of Gilgamesh contains a flood narrative that predates Genesis by at least 1,000 years and covers the same basic story. A man warned by a god, an ark built, animals taken aboard, a bird sent out to find land. The Sumerian language has no known relatives. Break time slash. It is a language isolate, no connection to Semitic languages like Akkadian and Arabic, no connection to Indo-European languages. Break time it appeared in the historical record already formed, and we don't know where it came from or how it developed. We don't know what the Sumerians called themselves. Break time slash. The word Sumer comes from how their Akkadian successors referred to them. The first civilization on Earth didn't even get to name itself. The deeper you go into this subject, the more you realize how much of the ancient world we're still reconstructing from fragments. For every site that has been excavated, dozens more remain untouched. Break time. Ground-penetrating radar and satellite imagery have transformed what archaeologists can identify without digging, and what they keep finding is that the ancient world was larger, more connected, and more sophisticated than the version that appears in most textbooks. The conventional history of civilization traces a clean line from Mesopotamia through Egypt, through Greece, through Rome, to the modern West. Break time. That story is real, but it's incomplete. Break time. It leaves out entire civilizations that developed in parallel, built impressive things, and then were erased from memory so thoroughly that we had to rediscover them in the eth and eth centuries. The pattern repeats across every civilization in this series. A society builds something extraordinary. Break time. It sustains itself for centuries, sometimes millennia time. Break time ends. Then a combination of environmental pressure, political instability, and external shock pushes it past the point of recovery. Break time ends. The population disperses. Break time ends. The monumental architecture is abandoned to the weather. Break time ends. The writing system is forgotten. Break time ends. The gods stop being worshipped. And then, hundreds or thousands of years later, a plow hits a stone, or a satellite detects a buried structure, or a researcher notices that a myth mentions a place that no one can find. And the long work of recovery begins. What we know about this civilization today is the product of that recovery work. Break time ends slash. The archaeologists who spent their careers in the field, often under difficult conditions, in countries that weren't always stable. Break time slash. The linguists who stared at undeciphered scripts until patterns emerged. Break time ends slash. The paleoclimatologists who drilled lake sediment cores to reconstruct rainfall patterns years ago. None of this was inevitable. Break time slash. The clay tablets at Ugarit survived because they happened to be in a kiln when the city burned. Break time M/. The linear B tablets at Pylos survived because the fire that destroyed the palace was hot enough to fire the clay. Break time im/. 100 other archive rooms burned and left nothing. What we have is what chance preserved, and what we're still missing. The literature, the theology, the personal letters, the poetry, the arguments and the love stories and the complaints about bad harvests is almost certainly larger than what survived. The ancient world was full of people who thought, worried, loved, argued, and built things they hoped would last.
Break time, Wims.
Most of what they made is gone. Break time, IWEMs. What we have is a fraction of a fraction, but that fraction is enough to know that the standard story, progress marching steadily forward from primitive origins, is wrong. Break time, complexity rises and falls. Break time, sophisticated societies emerge and collapse. Break time, knowledge is discovered and then lost and then rediscovered. The lesson isn't that civilization is fragile, though it is. Break time, the lesson is that human ingenuity shows up in every era, under every condition, in every corner of the world where people are trying to solve problems and make things that last. The mounds at Cahokia. Break time, Saf, the pillars at Gobekli Tepe. Break time, the sewers at Mohenjo-Daro. Break time, the peace treaty at Hattusa. Break time, the alphabet that Phoenician merchants scratched onto clay and eventually, through a chain of borrowing that crossed a dozen cultures over 3,000 years, became the letters you're reading right now. That chain didn't have to hold. Break time, it nearly didn't, several times. Break time, but it did. And somewhere under the fields and deserts and jungles of the ancient world, the next discovery is waiting. Break time, the next tablet in the wrong kiln. Break time, the next footstep that catches on the edge of something buried. The work is nowhere near done.